Please join the pledge of allegiance. You think pledge of allegiance to the flag Thank you, everyone. Coming. You can see in the signature folder we signed an intent to excavate with aiming to leave the spit that they will access through Duncan Lake Road. And there was we signed a letter to Department of Safety to let them know that Allen is now the town park. And we have to vote on this before we sign it for this temporary second dwelling. The form says that it's a manufactured housing unit, and they just want to strike that and use one-story camp where they build. Does anybody have a problem with it? I do not. I do not. No, I don't have. Okay, make a motion to adopt this. Second. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Aye. And it was yours.
So this was it.
What?
Elliot.
Yeah. Michelle and Bob Elliott.
After they sign it, we'll get you a copy.
Let's sign one of these two and we'll just have.
That's your copy to discuss in case you want to talk to her about that.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the manifest dated July 13th in the amount of $55,969.76. Second. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Aye. We got 5 o'clock opening the bids, but Joe, you wanna do your report? Sure. Okay, go ahead. Rebecca's coming in at 5:15.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be very quick. Just a couple things. So our staff for the month of June, just hanging in there steady, busy. Calls for service of 325. We've made 5 arrests, 65 motor vehicle stops, and there were 5 accidents that month. That's quite a few for Effingham. So, like I said before, the traffic is definitely here, and people are definitely driving like idiots. So just keep your eyes open.
Hey Joe, where's most of the accidents?
Most of them.
Yeah.
It's about 50-50 between 25 and like Elm Street. I had one on Green Mountain Road, you know. So, but you know, 25 the intersections that where we get it pretty good. Any
Champion Hill.
Champion Hill Road, yeah, I hear the blow tires. Any questions?
Was there alcohol involved in that one?
Negative. I was on duty, so.
Anyone drink and drive off to the avenue.
Is there any questions or comments or concerns about the stats, anything like that? Activity, you know? Okay. 2 more things. I'm not gonna make any reference to who involved or anything like that, but I did have a court case today. For an individual we've been dealing with for a long time. And I want to stress the importance that if you guys are filing complaints with us about anybody, that these court cases, they can go on and they can go on and they can go on, but without witnesses, they're not going to go anywhere. So with this particular individual, we had 3 different cases and they all got dismissed because witnesses got sick of playing a game of having to show up. This person wouldn't show up, and they basically said, don't call us unless, you know, this person's there. Well, it doesn't work that way, but the court's not going to wait. So, just keep that in mind, when you're filing complaints where you could be a victim, somebody could be arrested, go to court, you need to be in it for the long haul. Or else we're just gonna get cases dismissed, not anybody here, I'm just, putting that out there for everybody, because it is very frustrating, it was very frustrating. So, on that note, there's that. The other thing is I would like to introduce, Chris Canning, who is my new administrative support assistant over at the police department. He's been with us about a month now. He's got an extensive history in law enforcement between Conway Police Department, Liquor Commission. And he's done other sales ventures and things like that. He's been doing a great job over here and, we hope to see it continue.
Welcome aboard. Thank you very much. I'll try to be available about 3 days a week over here as it stands right now. My hours are kind of limited and I'm doing 12 hours a week, so I'm splitting that up over 3 days. I'll give you two mornings and an evening so that I can be around in case something comes up and you need to ask about anything in particular. So if I can be of assistance, obviously, I would be.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anything else? No?
No, short and sweet,
What's that?
short and sweet.
Thank you.
What's that?
I said, thank you.
Couldn't hear you.
GP,
All right. For the month of June, we had 33 calls, 6 of them were up at Green Mountain. We had 22 fire calls, 22 EMS calls, 13 fire calls. Brings us up to 168 for the year. So we're pretty slow compared to where we were last year. So we are seeing the motor vehicle accidents just like the police are on 25 and stuff like that. But overall, we've been pretty slow. The summer seems to be starting to pick up over the last couple of weeks. That's all I got for stats, but question for the board. DES is looking for applications for reimbursement for all the flooding we have right now. So we need to decide if we want to try and go through another process, getting some reimbursement for fixing roads.
yeah, I was gonna ask you to, then in touch.
Yeah, so now would be the time because we know what we need for documentation based on what we're going through from the last storm.
Yeah,
So if we can start gathering that documentation, we can start getting applications in.
yeah, we didn't receive any bills from Ron on this past storm,
Not yet.
right? Sorry, so we'll get that together.
I know I went out today and I drove the dirt roads and almost every dirt road has at least some washout on the sides, so. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of work that we can wrap into reimbursement.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the email I sent? I sent a few of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were also requesting pictures of the,
Right. Yeah, stuff that we didn't have from the last one that we now
okay.
are better versed in, so.
JT, I counted 7 versus 6 for high watch.
One of them, I believe, is a firearm.
Which they're still responsible for, right?
They do not, we don't bill them for that, we only bill them for the medical incidents.
Okay,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah,
from my understanding, we've only ever billed them for medical.
okay, thank you.
and Audrey, have you received that information?
I did. It finally came through on July 5th and JT is looking at it now.
Okay.
And we'll get that invoice out probably. Maybe Thursday we'll learn invoicing.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, JT.
You want me to ask Rebecca to come over early?
Yeah, if you can. We can vote on this request for. Okay, then. For Effingham preservation. We didn't have a problem with it, we voted last year, so,
Last couple of years.
yeah,
Make a motion to approve the outdoor event application for Preservation Society for the Street Fair.
one second. All those in favor? Aye.
All right, thanks.
Get that out of the way. You coming?
Cheers.
Okay.
We're meant to go. Oops, it worked. No, it's-
And in the mail folder, we had a newsletter from LFPC for the transportation study. We had a complaint from a resident on Libby Road. The gravel washing into her driveway. It's coming off the class 6 road back onto her property, which Leo has been remedying as much as he can, so. I don't know if you get the,
Where is that culvert?
Well, I just unburied it today.
Okay, I went up last week and I drove up and down and I'm like, I don't see that culvert.
It's like a 5-foot gravel.
Okay,
Yeah, it's unburied thing, but it's flood.
It's only about 50 feet above her driveway.
Yeah.
okay, so we're at the base of the hill.
You'll see it now. You'll see the.
This is your startup to do.
Okay.
Can you wash it out?
I'm gonna go look and see, probably, if we can get to it, we should be able to,
Yeah, you can get to it. It's just.
yeah, we should be able to do that. We'll give it a try.
Cool. Otherwise, you would have had a.
well, Leo's got to one end of it, he hasn't got to the other end yet.
Well, I hit the stones and everything else for facing it, it should be behind it up. Face of the culvert.
And then the other thing was we having a webinar, DES is having a webinar for people to, about situating landfills and stuff, so that's next Wednesday. Hey, Rebecca. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Okay,
Took care of your order of business here.
yeah, thank you, and I think the Elliott's are here,
Yeah.
so they're gonna, so we'll get,
I'm signing it now.
okay, great. So we'll get 2 copies both signed, super duper. Questions, there we go, this is actually all stuff that I just need to pass on the office, whatever, that's why I'm carrying so much stuff.
You said you're slowing down a little bit, so.
Yeah, seems to be, I think that, maybe the rush is finally over. Made a few, we're halfway through the month, not quite, not 6 permits, so. We are getting applications for, building permits for houses, for homes,
Good.
not just sheds, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see most of them are just porches and decks and barns.
Well, it's been that way for years and years, yeah, but we had at least 1, 2 house,
I see the house here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, one on hold and I've got a couple. They're easy to remember because they have to go through the health officer signature process as well, so they stand out, it's an extra step,
Question for you,
yes,
travel trailers.
yeah.
Travel trailers that people hook to their vehicles and go camping with.
If they don't have plumbing stuff, we don't regulate them. In other words, if they're the little pop-up tow behind type, is that the type you mean?
Yeah, travel trailer,
Well,
like a travel.
Well, what was the question? You didn't ask the question yet.
okay,
Yep, so. Travel trailer, let's say it's a 36-foot travel trailer with a slide out awning. You
Okay,
hook it to your vehicle, you take it to a campground.
Yeah.
What is regulation on those?
the regulation on those is in order to put them on your property in Effingham, you need to get 150-day seasonal RV permit.
Even if you're just parking it in your dooryard and it's registered and you're gonna use it for camping? On a weekend basis, go away. for-
No, if you're just parking it there, if you're keeping it so you can go to Yellowstone or Saratoga Springs, then no, you can just keep it in your yard. You only need the permit if it's, you know, operating. In other words, it's being slept in and it's maybe hooked up to water and electricity and all that stuff. So if you're just keeping it in your driveway so you can go out on a jaunt, there's no regulations.
So let me tell you what I asked.
Okay,
So on Monday the third, you and David went out and put a notice on somebody's doorstep because their awning was out in their camper and the slide out, because the slide out has an awning, was out in the camper. And they put a notice and said that they needed a permit, even though it was registered camper. And I can see where it would appear at that time that it's set up. So this is the issue that I think we run into. So you can't go solely off an appearance because
which property are we talking about?
it's on Elm Street.
Yeah.
So let me just finish. So a lot of times, you know, I worked at a campground. So those campgrounds, those awnings are made of fabric and they're made of canvas.
Yeah.
You don't want to put them away wet and store them away wet too long, they'll mold and they will rot.
Mhm.
It has rained, the month of June, it rained 25 out of 30 days, the month of June. That particular individual went on a camping trip the weekend of the 23rd to the 27th, came back, pulled everything out, it's, you know, the awning is out and stuff, and then they got a notice on the thing saying that they're in violation, so they just came to see me at my work to ask me what the regulation is. They said it's registered, we went camping, we popped everything out so it's drying.
I think I spoke to the individual.
You know, they just had a note on the door.
Well, if it's the Elm Street one that we're talking about, I spoke to the individual. Maybe we're talking about two different properties. But I did speak to an individual that had the awning out and they had an indoor-outdoor carpet down and chairs and tables and, you know, all set up like it was a little porch area. But certainly we could have made a mistake. I mean, you know, I think that the note, I don't have a copy of it with me, but I think it note says if you are using it, you need to get a permit and please check with our office to see what is required.
But if they're not,
If they're not, but it really, I mean, you know, how are we to know unless it's truly part?
absolutely.
Yeah, but you know, all it takes is a phone call. I mean, that's why they were leaving the notice like that. It had my contact information on it, a phone call or an email saying you tagged my RV, but it was just drying out from last weekend's camping. It would have been sufficient. I mean, I'm not trying to make anyone more miserable about the amount of rain we've had.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you get a day's worth of good weather, individual left everything out to dry, and then it rained again. And then it continues to rain,
Well,
and it rains every single day.
it's not ideal. is it?
So would you like me to reach out to that individual that I was referring to and have him call you, or?
Yes, that would be excellent. That would be excellent, because we were going around visiting properties that have gotten RV permits in the past, but hadn't gotten any this season to see if the RVs were still there. And if they weren't, we were crossing them off the big old list. And in our drive around, we located a few other RVs that we didn't even know of their activities. And so we put up a little note, and we did in fact run into a couple of people that didn't know about the regulation at all. Someone that was actually had built a deck on their RV and was building a shed and had the RV and everything was up and running and there was no permitting occurred.
Yeah, that wasn't this.
No, this was down off Wilkins Swamp. But I'm just saying that we did, you know, we ran the gamut of what we found out there, including RVs that are no longer there, which is good too. We spent about 3 hours. We got a third of the way through our list and added an equal length of list to the list, so. But I have no desire to make life miserable for people that are following the rules. I just, you know, trying to track down the ones that need perhaps to learn what the rules are.
Yeah, Paul.
Absolutely.
On Libby Road. Have you received an application for a driveway permit on lot 21? Where the guy was working on Libby? Heard about that?
Beyond Scazzarella? Way
See-
down beyond?
Is it 21 or 20?
Yeah, one of those two lots.
I'd have to look and see it done, but I've got active permit applications.
For the garage.
Yeah, and you know where the big boulder is in the middle of the road?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I've got active permits for lots all the way down to the boulder. I've had an inquiry about the first lot after the boulder.
Now, what's the status for?
That's the lady,
It's a lady, yeah, and
state rep.
I
Right,
don't,
she's gonna come to your next meeting. She's been in touch with me.
I don't
She's
know,
not coming tonight, she's coming,
Correct.
He's the one that did the, well, my mom did the work on the road.
yeah.
I didn't ask that.
Okay.
if it's the same person, I informed her that we could issue a driveway permit without any problems at all, but if she wanted to get permits for any kind of structures, she needed to go through the class 6 fit diddly hop
Right.
with the board.
Well, that's grandfather any of those lots. Whatever you want.
No, they have to get approved.
I agree. So from that standpoint, if they plan to put an RV in that, do they need a septic system? Or what type of for disposal?
They need a 150-day
So no
RV
septic or
permit
anything.
that with an RV that has a completely contained system and evidence on the form, which is right there where you fill it in, as to how they're dealing with it, whether they're pulling their removables out and taking them away in a truck and emptying them somewhere, or whether they're driving it off the lot to some place where they can empty it or whatever. I mean, that's the standard for a 150-day RV permit. We ask that they put in a line there, they put in the registration information, provide the registration information, and then put in how they're dealing with the waste. I mean, they can just say pumped once a month by porta potty or whatever, if that's what they want to say.
And isn't there language in there that affords us or the health officer, the essentially permission to inspect to make sure that they're following that?
Or some
Oh,
type of
sure,
work?
yeah, well, if the health officer wants to institute more paperwork beyond that, then they're welcome to it. They get, whenever I issue a RV permit, when I send out my reports every month, the health officer gets copies of all the permits for houses, even though the officers already countersigned them, so that they have the digital version of those permits, which have septic systems on them, and they get all the RV permits, so they have all that information on the people who are operating RVs. So they not only get the permit, they get the application form. So they've got the application form, which has the name and permanent address of the owner, contact phone number, contact email, registration number of the RV, and the method of disposal that they're using. So the health officer can go out there well prepared to say, I see you're doing X, Y, Z, would you mind providing documentation of the last time you were pumped, whatever the health officer chooses to do.
That's what the form was. So
Yeah.
They have to be able to provide
Right,
documentation.
right, and that was the agreement we came to, which is that I would get that information on the building permit, so that then the health officer could take it a step further if they felt necessary.
So going forward, I did go to legal in municipal New Hampshire to review as far as
Can I hold you for a second?
sure.
Mr. Chairman, just point of order.
Okay,
It is 5:00.
okay.
Yeah, we can, I think
Hold
we
on.
can continue. We just need to make the statement that all bids are.
Yes, all bids are closed, all one.
I was just having a deja vu of a bidding process I went through and I wound up ripping a block off the wall and smashing it.
So I requested information from the legal concerning assessing and the zoning officer or technician as far as accessing properties within the town of Effingham. So basically, what he's saying is trying to just condense it a little bit, that it's a potential violation of private property's owner's constitution right against unreasonable search and seizures under the Fourth Amendment. The assessor should obtain permission before entering private property, and if the resident will not grant permission, then they will not be able to obtain a permit. So this is from legal from New Hampshire.
Well, I can't answer on the relationship that assessing has to accessing property. That's not my department. But I do know that our building permit states right above the signature.
This
that-
is basically I requested zoning when they sent
Okay,
me out. He was responding, basically working as a part-time zoning officer, so he's responding to as a zoning officer.
okay, I'll just say that our building permit applications state directly above the signature line that if you sign this permit application, you are authorizing entry to the property.
And I also provided him that information also, and he says that's okay, but you still need the permission to go onto the property, because that's just a
That's
form,
not-
that's just a, let me finish. It's just on the form, and basically stated that you still have to go on this information with the Fourth Amendment, you need permission. And he basically, they make a phone call, request permission, if they can provide a time period for you to come on, and the permit's held up, no matter what, but it's just a courtesy to call them ahead of time that you're coming on the property, that you want to assess the property. So I would like to make a motion to amend it to add on that the zoning officer and the assistant assessment commission needs to request permission or phone calls to the property owners or to entering the property anywhere as it again.
I think we're talking employee behavior now, and I'd like to take this in non-public.
Okay, we're good with that.
While it was still in public. The barn, the Elliott, Perry. On Province Lake Road.
Oh, yeah,
Historic district, yeah, we approved that last night, so.
yeah, and I called Susan, because he called me. And I haven't got any documentation yet, but she said, I got confirmation from her.
Yeah.
As well as from you now, because he wanted to come and get the permit today, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we
So,
approved that last.
it's all done, thank you very much.
Can you provide us update on the issue with Susan Gadet on Bailey Road?
There's no update, it's illegal.
With legal, still with legal?
I do have another question.
Sure.
Well, actually, it's not. It's in the same topic, but in relation to 670 Townhouse Road. So we set a precedent, we talked about this before, do unto others. Everybody gets treated the same, but we turn a blind eye to everybody. That's my feeling on zoning. You either enforce everything or don't enforce it. That's my opinion. I'm not making an accusation, okay? Having said that, on October 7th, 2022, Judge Ignatius issued an order, it was a 30-day order case, the ruling on the case, that she had 30 days to comply with these 11 stipulations. And nothing has been done. Are you aware of anything new or pending?
No, I took a set of pictures and sent them back to legal.
So the reason why I say that, the way I said it is, we're setting a precedent. You just brought up somebody that changed the window and remodeled the inside of their house, and we're going after them because they didn't get a building permit. And we have this case here that's been going on for basically 13 years. The judge made a ruling on October 7th, giving 30 days to comply. I think those 30 days are long since gone by. Yes, the town of Effingham has spent an extraordinary amount of money on legal, and particularly this case, or some of these cases. But even still, for us not to act on this, what's the point of spending those hundreds of thousands of dollars of legal to get to this point and not doing it? So I think that, in my opinion, just out of a courtesy, we send a letter and say, look, you're well past the 30 days. So we're giving you notice that, however we want to go about it, this is just gonna be one suggestion. One of the violations was the junk vehicles. We contact a local salvage area or whoever the town uses at the transfer station, start removing vehicles. We're well within our privy permission to do that according to that order.
Right, and that's certainly, my understanding would be that would be an action the Board of Selectmen would take, not that I would not take it.
Yeah, I just wanted, while you were here, I just wanted
Yeah,
to bring it
no,
up to you.
absolutely, I think, we reach a point, whether it's first time around in court or repeat around in court. We're at a point where zoning violation letters are not gonna achieve anything. And I don't believe that it's part of the powers of my office to, start hiring records and pulling.
Oh, no,
them.
no, no.
But it is a problem, we've got a multiplicity of types of recalcitrant responses. And some just ignore us, and some make a vague and dabbling attempt to do something and then give up. And some, actually do stuff. I mean, when we went after 11 or 12 properties that had different levels of junkyardness, we're now down to 3. Which is pretty good. But those are 3, I mean, 2 of those one of those has been a problem. It was on, I used to do a top 10 list when I first started here, different database. And they've been on it ever since then. So.
Can I interject, Rebecca? I mean, you said you did a tour of town, right? You went around with Dave.
Yeah.
So you're talking about junkyards. Did you notice the junkyard on Townhouse Road as far as one of the residents there, all the cars in there?
Well, I'm really.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Did I notice? I mean, it's a long road. There are a lot of residents, there's a lot of cars. So I really, I don't know of which you speak, which is a.
Okay.
No, and I know that, I mean, I know the individual we're talking about, and I know the difficulty. With pursuing whatever enforcement is necessary there. I mean, part of the order is for no one to be living there until there's a septic system, and I believe.
Oh, we're not
No.
talking about that.
No,
Yeah.
that has since ceased, to my knowledge.
Okay,
So leave it alone. I'm just saying, but just trying to correct you from the standpoint, there's better junkyards in town. Versus 3.
well, anyone is welcome to identify the address, print out the property card, and put it in my mailbox. I mean, we do go around, we do see stuff, but there,
And not to throw you in the bus, but it is kind of our job too, as the board of selectmen, since we see something, say something.
I
So,
agree.
that's part of our.
I'm doing the job, so I'm just.
Yeah.
the best way to get information to me is not this way, where then I'm gonna spend, time and these folks good money trying to figure out what piece of property you're talking about, but is to slow down and get the street number or figure out related to some other things what the property is, come back here, print out the property card, take a pen and write on it what you saw, and drop it in my mailbox.
Take a picture.
Take a picture. Yeah,
I just,
absolutely.
I merely want to have this conversation while you were here.
Oh, sure.
I
Yeah.
just, in case you would have any, but I mean, what is the motive, what is the motivation for anybody in town that's in violation? They can just say, well, they're just gonna continue to kick the can down the street here.
Well, we're finding them too, but that's a question of what,
We haven't like.
no, but that's because the legal process protects these people. So we've got people out there with outstanding fines of what? $10,000 to $30,000
Plus.
plus, and it's in court, or it's at legal, and what are you gonna do?
And as hard as it is for me to do, given the fact that my opinion of it all, like I said, everybody gets treated the same, we turn a blind eye to everybody. And you pay your taxes, you live your life, and you take care of your property the way you see fit. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect my daily life, then I could give a crap.
Right.
However, I do sit here, so I know that I am somewhat bound by oath and so forth, or I am bound by oath to, enforce the rules across the board. I'm not one of those type of people that will say, well, you're doing this to this person, what about them? I'm not gonna do that.
I'm trying to be fair-minded. I mean, I don't live in town, so I don't have a particular axe to grind with any individuals or any power structure. I just, I've been trying to enforce the zoning ordinance for. I think we just passed my 18th anniversary. I started on July 6th or 7th in 2000 something, 6, I guess, 7, 6, whatever. So.
We had a very busy night, I know, and I just, thank you, I just felt it was appropriate to bring it up now, while you're here to join in any part of the conversation, giving your position.
And I'm happy to you know, happy to come back and have a conversation. You know, discussing legal issues or administrative process, something like that. Absolutely.
I believe we're gonna have to have a, as per discussion last week, we're gonna have to have a
Yeah, we'll have a session.
session. More likely next week, maybe a special one, or definitely a week after that, and a regular scheduled one,
Right.
based on a potential decision that's gonna be made later on this evening.
Are you folks, just so I know whether I can get stuff to Audrey, are you going well past 6? Or are you stopping at 6?
We should be done by 6.
Okay, so I can get some stuff into the office with you then.
Yeah.
And these folks back here, did they sign a
I
copy?
got it, I've got your original.
Hmm?
I've got your original, I'm gonna scan it in.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave it in your mailbox.
Okay, okay, super, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, we're a little late. Gonna open the bid. The winter road maintenance.
Any
Thank you,
bets?
thank you, Michelle. Much better than ours.
I agree.
Is that the steak knife?
Yes, it gives me some Bowie knife.
He was hoping you were gonna slip.
Yeah. This one is goods concrete and excavation.
Where are they located?
1461 Providence Lake Road. Please find attached bid for winter seasons 23 through 26. Lists out his whatever, all his equipment. And kind of like a little resume. And then his proposal for season 1. November 1st, 2023 to April 2024. Total bid 257,000. Season 2, November to April. Total bid 263,000. And season 3, November to April would be 268,000.
Is that with materials or just one?
No,
Supply
that's
the material.
just for pound.
So
So we can talk about that, look at the equipment.
Lenny, what was the name of the company?
Edwards Concrete and Excavation. Scheduled, 2004 Mac, 2007 Freightliner, 595 Mac, 95 International, 85 International, 2014 F350, 2005 Cat, skid steer, track loader, wheel loader, and radar. 370 road radar. So you get equipment.
it's all the bid's all supposed to be in.
But hopefully, made the note.
Well, that's when they will open, they will do by.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, do by 2. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
I'll scan it and email it to all of you. You're gonna have a work session this Friday or something. Excuse me, I can't hear.
Can't do this Friday, so.
Thank you.
What day next week?
Any day but Friday.
Next week?
I'm open.
I think of any day but Wednesday.
Can we do, Tuesday, so we can schedule, the employee process.
Sounds good.
Okay. At what time? 4:30?
You want to do it during the day?
You guys. If you want the employees there,
So we have the warrant election the 18th, right?
25th.
Was it 25th? Yeah, so,
Oh, sorry, they got moved, because that wasn't.
So if you want the assessing clerk and Rebecca here, I would say like 12:30 or 1.
Okay, can you do that or?
Yep.
Oh,
12:30?
30 Wednesday,
Tuesday.
the 18th.
What time?
12:30 Tuesday, the 18th.
And we'll start with the non-public part of it, for the employees.
Okay. All right, Audrey, what do you get? You get planning board after, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
What time should it work?
Here?
here,
Oh,
I realized that yesterday afternoon and let Audrey know that, and yes, and she did correctly tell me that, the priority is here, is us, but,
They're at the school tonight. Elaine should just photocopied everything to bring to the school with George, so,
Who's on first?
remember I told you I was reading an email?
yeah.
And the email said it was here, because it wasn't a special thing.
Chris is on first.
Yeah.
Okay, so. I think everyone knows I gave my notice, and I'll be here for another week and a half. I'll have a list of things that I have for priorities, public hearing for the 25th, I believe is all set. The road maintenance, summer roads, is a priority, and Lenny asked me also, to get the bid paperwork ready for Ryfield Road, right? Is that Ryfield?
yeah.
And then getting up to speed on minutes, training Michelle. And then I'll be available like 1 day a week to be over here until the position's filled.
When are we gonna be posting that?
Well, I
Later.
gave you a copy of it to review and tell me if you're okay, you wanna change it, it's up for discussion. We can, discuss the posting today and then have fine tweak the, job descriptions. Michelle expressed an interest in not being a town administrator. She's like, I don't wanna do either. And so, because of her financial background, I tailored a finance admin to her. And then it would have to be an understanding where the two positions share doing the transfer station stickers at the window, answering the public at the window, answering the phone. All those are the kind of underlying things that will happen between the people. You know, if they maintain their own files, you know, the personnel or finance files, and then contract files. It's a pretty balanced workload. So, do you want me to go ahead and advertise this? Do you want me to?
So you're going with this, first one, the general state, which one?
The one that starts out
This one,
Effingham, New Hampshire. Approximately 1,800 population and seeking a proactive community leader to serve as its next town administrator. So that's plagiarized off of multiple ads in on NHMA to try to attract people.
Yeah, I now went on it too.
Okay, yeah. The town is immersed in natural beauty and opportunities provided by the surrounding lakes, trails, and mountains.
would you get that?
She was talking about me.
She wasn't wearing her glasses either.
They were rosy.
You wanna be careful, there's a lady right in front of you, will take you out.
She likes it. Yeah, I see no problems with running that as an ad.
Yeah, we need to get it out as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
Okay, so July 31st, I think it's 2 weeks, so I'll post it up, I can easily put it up tonight, and then, I can send out the job description. I think it's pretty generic, I mean, it can change, because there is a, the job functions are, illustrations only, any omissions and whatever can be added.
So the position hasn't gone out to a paper or anything yet?
Not
Correct.
yet.
That's what we're discussing.
So we got time.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
before you talked about where you wanted to put it and
No, we
in
were,
what paper and everything.
no, we were talking about the RFPs for plowing and winter roads contract.
Yeah, let me look at this. So if I was gonna put it anywhere, I'd put it on, NHMA and Indeed. I wouldn't waste time in newspapers.
So the 38 part-time, it's including the fire department, right? I would assume.
That's everybody, transfer station, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't include elected, so it doesn't include Alan.
No, that's.
Yeah.
It's a separate department. We need
So
to,
we're gonna advertise it in HMA and
Indeed,
Indeed,
what's that?
yeah, look for a job lately, have you?
No.
the job hunting app, thing,
Oh, okay.
online app. Thing. Just. I don't know how we would go about doing it, but we did get success on another social media outlet for that young lady sitting next to her, so any thought to that at all?
That kind of be my last. Yeah,
what was,
Facebook.
oh, okay.
Do you think the sun would be a waste of money? Fun with some.
I don't know. I would,
I mean, it's $50 for what,
I
2
would,
days?
I would reduce the wording, make it pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do a short, straightforward one for that
Looking for an administrator, yes.
senior level.
Let's see.
Okay.
Okay. And like I said to Lenny, some towns, smaller towns, they don't really have the title town administrator, they have an administrative assistant to the board and like a bookkeeper. So, and those two positions will work together. You know, that's basically how Tufton Borough was structured prior to me going over. All right, so I'll get that advertisement out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then because I'm kind of just back from vacation, I'll have more of an updated list and things for you at the work session on Tuesday.
Okay. And you asked me if I'd heard from Clean Harbors, did you email them?
No, I'll email him again. Can't believe it. Came right down to the afternoon before and then you didn't show up.
Yeah,
That's all I have.
have we received money for K9?
I haven't looked at the bank statement. I don't know if we received the money from Germany.
Okay. That all you got?
That's all I have.
Okay. You get anything?
No, no, I'm good.
Okay,
Maybe.
Chris?
I was gonna text Joe and ask him if we get money from Germany. I didn't know that was fun.
He won't know. He won't see the bank statement.
Oh,
I'll do it.
oh, yeah, I get it. So it didn't go through them. Yeah, right. Sorry. So I feel a little, obviously numerous calls, as has this office, reference Pine River Road and potholes. Obviously, it's been well documented and well discussed that, I don't believe in throwing good money at bad repetitively. Cost us about $2,000 a whack every time they go to coal patch, but it was to a point where something had to be done, and it was done today. The holes did need to be filled anyway. We do have a plan in place to hot top, not the entire road, but to do a shim coat, much like the state of New Hampshire does. DOT does, in the highs and low points, they come in with a grader and they put down hot top. And they fill it in, so the worst areas that continuously get beat back out again. We agreed as a board some time ago to hot top. Get several loads of hot top and shim coat over all those areas, it'll last a lot longer, it's a more prolonged Band-Aid, for lack of a better description. It is weather pending, and obviously, as you heard me state earlier, the month of June, we got 25 out of 30 days it rained, we got 8.96 inches of rain. July is not off to a much better start. Unfortunately, traffic patterns, police department can tell you this is the same thing. Traffic patterns, we all drive like sheep, we follow right in the same tracks. So when you start a hole, that hole just progressively gets bigger every time a car goes over it, so.
Until you lose the car.
Yeah. There was a gentleman, with the assistance of a 10-year-old boy directing traffic for him, filling holes with material on the side of the road on Sunday. I did stop by, I got a phone call and I stopped by and thanked him for his service and his volunteerism, but advised him that probably wasn't the safest manner in going about it, so that ceased to continue. But anybody who drove Pine River Road yesterday morning would have seen the plants that were planted in potholes. It's quite attractive. As for our conversation and the request from the residents on when it was going to continue, on Monday, despite the fact that it was raining, it was something that could be done. The piles from the ditching on the side of the roads, picking the piles up, did continue on Monday, and that is going to continue. They do know that that is something that needs to be done. And the hot top, weather pending, that's going to happen tomorrow on Pine River Road and start on Champion Hill Road, the paved swale that was slated to be done the end of May, 1st of June. That weather pending again. Anybody that watch the weather, we should be nice. Potentially get severe thunder showers, but outside work that does interfere with it. So hopefully that will get done this week. Washout repairs have been completed on Pine River Road and High Wash Road and Drake Road. From way back to 25th through the 2nd storm, from April storms actually. I did check out Libby Road again. Continuously monitored that where somebody was working on a classic road. Despite our best efforts, or I should say you gentlemen's best efforts, I was unavailable to go up there and ask the work ceased until they came forward. Came before the Board of Selectmen, and they continued to work until they got to their lot. A little bit, not a lot, but they did continue. And they since haven't been back, and that was the weekend before last, or the week before last.
We hasn't resurrected
Nothing has been changed. They have not cleaned anything up yet.
Yeah, I did have a discussion with him after we met him that day, on back that night. And I told him, I said, you gotta come to the board, get permission to work on work, and before we give you permission, you gotta clean up your mess. All the trees that you threw over the stone walls will have to be taken out, cleaned away. And plus you'll have to have insurance. He understood.
I do monitor Bailey Road because that is still open dirt to see if the potholes are starting to appear. Given my experience with the town of Boston, anytime you cut pavement for a culvert or a bridge project and pavement's left open, the gravel will get pounded out just like they do on any other dirt road. It's still holding pretty good. The road itself getting a little rough, but anybody that has not had the opportunity, the guardrails are all in, grass is starting to grow. For all intents and purposes, with the exception of the pavement and the DES closure forms that we need to do, that project is complete. And I noticed in the well, I don't even remember where I noticed it, but the beaver trapper that gets paid for out of roadside mowing and clearing.
That's where they take it from.
Okay. That can't come out of summer road. Maintenance,
Yeah, it could. I mean, it's all gonna be one big pot here eventually.
yeah, it's just the fact, you know, obviously, we all know we had a special work session to discuss how things are tracked and so forth, and. I mean, obviously, any money we take out of that, it takes away from any mowing we're gonna be able to get done. Not that we can't rob Peter to pay Paul, the opposite direction, but
Most of the.
it's all on the up and up, by the way.
They're out by the townhouse road. The neighbors
Yeah, right now they are,
by the my property.
yeah. Yeah, you'll be this.
Yeah, I'll take care of it. Cause it down nothing.
That's the recording, because feel free to do that. Yeah, that's all I have for right now.
Okay. While I was here this afternoon, I got a call from RCH. Rich, you talked to him?
Crack ceiling,
Yeah,
nope,
no, okay, good. I told him it'd be a money thing. If, but he was willing to do the same price as last year, so I said, well, our budget is tight, so if we find. We get any money left, we'll give you a call. He said, okay. And then, it only took 20 minutes to get him off the phone, so he likes to talk. And we haven't heard from Clean Harbors over the oil at the transfer station, so that guy called. Told Audrey he could be last week ago Friday. Well, last Friday, and week ago Friday. And he called me, sent me an email on Thursday, says call my cell phone, so he could have my number, and I called, and I never heard from him. Nothing new to report on that, so.
Is there any other suppliers that can do that?
Nobody that I know of. They're the only ones that I know of. I mean, if it was clean oil, somebody would take it and burn it.
Right.
You know, we don't know if it's clean or not. And the old oil container that we had. That's been tainted with water and everything else. Otherwise, they were gonna take that in those barrels. So we'll still work on that.
But it's the one at the transfer station or during the place that they cannot leak. And we're swimming here, like they're all contaminated. I mean,
Well, the two barrels, they're tipped up, so that, yeah, the plastic barrels are sealed pretty good.
okay,
But the old oil containment, that started leaking because it was just exposed and it rained it into the bottom of it. Where the overrun is, it catches the oil, and that started running out, so. We get that covered up with some plastic, some polymers. But we gotta get it out of there, so. You work on that.
can we move it into where the oil tank is right?
And I'll let even that we. You took pictures of that, right? Did you ever get it?
Yeah, I have pictures of the oil tank.
The oil tank, did we get that advertised on?
No,
I did my job.
Did you just say it leaks?
The building leaks,
Oh, building leaks,
yeah,
but we haven't done anything with the oil tank.
no,
We've been trying to sell
Yeah.
for how long?
but we have a lead now in our IRA, that they can post it. We didn't know about.
And prices are up, so we've been sitting on it intentionally. As you know, everything goes up, everything costs more money, so it's worth more
Not
money to us
everything
now.
is up, but that's-
No,
Get your mind out of it.
I'll open it up for public comment. The announcement, the 25th is gonna be the special town meeting at 6 p.m. here. And that's to change the wording on the veterans exemption and the elderly exemption, to make them compliant. It'll be all right.
And a reminder to state your name and address, please.
Public comment,
You're hot.
Yeah.
everybody wants to get out, cool there,
Question.
okay,
State your name, please.
Victoria Kirkwood, Green Mountain Road, Effingham NH.
map and lot number.
Okay, so I was
Did you get that,
looking
Michelle?
through the website and found this. And it is the town of Effingham 2-year road maintenance specifications from January 1st, 2022 and expires December 31st, 2023. Is this something that is in effect
Yep,
and it's been signed by our road?
that's the one that's in effect right now. It's the one we're working on.
Because I was reading it and it was like, there's a lot on here that is like, really? The contractor agrees to remove and properly dispose of dead animals in the road or within the right of way.
Only some.
Have they ever?
Yeah.
We're talking about Evans Brothers, right?
Yep,
They removed animals,
Yeah.
not the police department?
Evans has done some in the past. The police department's done some when they couldn't get hose run.
Okay,
Dick and Doe's used to do it. And they had some of those.
it just seems like. There's a lot in here that. I don't know as it's been done or it is being done. So. Ditches and town-owned culverts will be cleaned and kept free of debris. If that's the case, why did you have to stop and clean out a culvert? If they're not going around and looking.
Because
to
we're not
see
telling
if
them
it-
to go around and do it.
It's in his contract to
Yeah,
do
to
it.
do it, but he works for us. He only does what we tell him to do.
So why isn't he being told then?
Money. And his lack of help.
Okay, so if that's the case, what can be done about that?
Can I take some of this?
Sure.
So some of them have been done. I'm not gonna sit here and profess to say that we're all caught up, because we're not.
Right,
And not to beat a dead horse, but as I stated. And it's pretty obvious, we've gotten a lot of rain. My daily job for the highway department, I was late today because I was in a ditch cleaning it out. And I was in that same culvert last Thursday cleaning it out. So, and the town of Ospey Highway Department has a budget of over $5 million just for the highway department. Our entire operating budget, as you know, is $2.1 million roughly. And that is right around $100,000 for that contract. It is a contract, but it is, we do not have the funds to keep up with cleaning all these culverts out. We just don't. And we never will, quite frankly. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I don't foresee the town of Effingham ever coming into a boatload of money where we can keep up on a daily basis when the town of Ospey and other towns around us. I mean, the state of New Hampshire has got crews from 5 different sheds cleaning a washout on Browns Ridge Road. That was all over social media. It was on the news, just as a perfect example. Most people don't even realize the state of New Hampshire takes care of Browns Ridge Road. It's not town of Ospey, but that was a very, very significant washout because one culvert was blocked.
I thought it was Wolfboro. Is that part of
No, DOT takes care of that.
the, where's the?
They take care of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep. So that anyway, that was one culvert that got blocked. And with that amount of rain, water starts flowing. Takes a path of least resistance, it carries leaves, it takes sticks, the wind blows, one stick goes across a 15-inch culvert, and leaves start gathering on it. And it takes absolutely no time for that culvert to be clogged. And again, I'm not gonna sit and profess to say that they're right up to snuff and they're doing everything that we do said in a timely fashion. As I stated, we just now got a verbal promissory thing that, you know, this paving thing that I thought was gonna happen way back in the end of May, was gonna take place. But part of that is, in their defense, that they're playing catch up with the road washout. The ditching material that's piled up, you know, you gotta clean the ditches. That stuff you don't wanna put back in the road. So that's why, you know, one of the reasons why these piles of gravel were there. But it is very difficult, but at the same time, we do need to do a better job of policing and making sure that if nothing else, the severe problem areas are maintained better. You know, to top of hills and things of that nature. It is too bad, it really is, and I feel bad, and hopefully we can mitigate the situation for Miss Fairchild on Libby Road. But the bottom line is that culvert itself, if you look at, you know, history, that culvert sits on a classic portion of Libby Road. So are we supposed to maintain it or are we not? Water goes downhill. You live on a dirt road at the bottom of the hill. You kind of gotta expect that sometimes that water is gonna travel and find its way to you. It's unfortunate, but it is Mother Nature. When you get that amount of wet water and the ground is saturated, there's no place for it to go to, it's gonna continue to run, it's not gonna soak into the ground. So, and yeah, I'm not gonna say that, I was gonna say that contract was put in place by the private board, just, you know,
Is what?
was put in place by the private board, just, you know.
Yes, it was.
But it's work in progress, but I can tell you, it is very difficult, it's very difficult when it rains every single day. And when it rains the way it has. We are extremely fortunate, we haven't seen the rain that western part of New Hampshire and most of Vermont have seen in the last 24 hours. I have friends and family that they cannot move. They are trapped, literally trapped, and they're going to be for a long time. We got lucky. The town of Effingham, when we got all that rain in April, we really got lucky, we really did. The amount of washouts that were in the town of Ospey, as I stated at one of these meetings before. And we maintain our stuff on a regular basis, but there's only 10 of us. And we had 5 roads that were completely impassable, completely gone, big sections of them. So we got lucky. We only had a couple of roads that were impassable, and one of them was a highway to Summit Cottage.
So what I am hearing is, we have a contract to do this, but we don't have the money to pay to have the work done. Is that, am I clear on that?
That's one of the main things, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, as you know, that line,
These people that have paid their taxes, even though they paid it, we still don't have the money to get the work done.
if you take that contract, how much money is in that contract, that line item?
I don't know.
It's not
Off
written
the
that
top
way.
of my head.
It's not-
Exactly, it's hourly per hourly figure, whatever, but. There's still only so much money earmarked for each warrant article, much like this winter road. If we get the amount of snow. Let's say we get the amount of snow that like Buffalo, New York gets, where they get 12 feet of snow and whack. Town of Effingham be able to keep up with that? There's gonna be a level of expectation from taxpayers, well, you've got a contract, well, you also have to be realistic.
Mhm.
We don't have, the town of Effingham doesn't have the money. It's not the words. We're broke, we don't have the money in that line item. To do. What some of the other towns do as far as keeping up with the maintenance.
We gotta keep it in our budget.
I'm just bringing it up for other people to hear.
Oh, let me,
Well-
while we're on that topic, I got one of the emails I got today. Somebody wants to know what the status is of calcium chloride. Anybody that lives in this town on a dirt road, is your dirt road dusty?
I think one day.
Right now, is your dirt road dusty?
One day.
Exactly. Calcium chloride is $1.75 a gallon right now. For us to go out and spend taxpayers' money. To have that calcium chloride be completely dissipated by 5 days worth of torrential rain is a waste of money, and I am not going to do it. If these gentlemen want to do that, all the power to them, but that is an absolute waste of money.
We're not doing it.
I have a question. Has Green Mountain Road been,
Name.
Ugh.
You don't have to stand up.
okay,
The statement.
Leon Edge done 335 Green Mountain Road, Effingham, New Hampshire. Has Green Mountain Road been graded? Not Green Mountain, Effingham Road. The dirt road, Effingham,
Clough Road,
Effingham Road,
yep,
has it been graded yet?
Off Jones?
No, he's referring to Clough Road. Clough Road turns into Effingham Road and Ospey. Ospey's is Effingham Road.
Right,
So you're
No.
talking about Clough Road or Effingham Road?
Buck Road goes all the way there.
That's what I'm saying.
Road in Austin too.
Yeah, we're.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's saying Effingham
We're
Road.
the demons.
well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Down.
after you go over the bridge with the pond there, all the way to the Osprey line.
Huckins Pond
Yeah,
Road?
Yeah.
has that been graded yet?
Yes.
Good.
I'm not gonna say what condition is in, because it was rough graded, because that too is a highway to summer, no, that's class 6 road, isn't it?
Yes, it's about this.
But it was made passable, but again, we've gotten a tremendous amount of rain, so.
It's a washboard, right? I just drove down to that.
Oh, where the hill is, it's a class 6 road.
How often do you normally grade it?
Just enough to keep it passable, because it's a class 6 road, so under state statute, we're limited to the amount of monies that we can.
That's not class 6, the Summer Road.
It is a highway to summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll have to look at my picture. It's
Class 6, we wouldn't be grading it.
right, it's still minimal.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
But you talked about the money, look at the weather we've had, the money that we've spent, starting. With what, the microburst last year and then the winter, the
December.
Christmas storm.
But we got reimbursed on some.
Not
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet,
Oh, not yet?
no,
It's FEMA, it's FEMA.
and we're still dealing with FEMA, so. I
And
mean, we've spent a lot of money, yes, we'll hopefully get some of that money back.
Nobody has, by the way. None of the municipalities have.
Okay, because I thought no towns had, so they had.
I'd be surprised if anybody sees money before snow flies.
And the reason why is because it continues to be a weather event. We just had another one and it's dated to 25th of June to the 2nd of July. To put in your receipts for any damage and so on and so forth. And again. We get a lot and the bills are high, but it's minimal compared to other communities. So FEMA has to see so much. In the county, in this zone, in this district, if you will, to qualify, to even bother. So if like just Effingham got whacked, probably not gonna see anything, but it was kind of widespread. But then you need participation from other towns like the town of Wolfboro. They're not even bothering to apply for any of the FEMA money. That does affect the rest of the towns around them of getting their money.
Yeah, that's the two thresholds you have to hit. You have to hit county threshold and the state threshold. If you don't hit both, nobody can apply.
get the figures, the amount of it.
The amount of data.
So even with all of that, if other towns in the county, Moultboro, Tamworth, or whatever, if they all back out and say, way too much paperwork. We will take care of it, we have enough in our budget, we may not get any money. But none of the towns have gotten any money.
The actual microburst last year, we were the only ones with damage. So none of the thresholds got met, so there was no money for the actual microburst. The money that we're applying for is from the December storm we had. The microburst was not eligible, so that's what makes it tough.
And we haven't even got the bills yet for the end of June storm. That was pretty costly. But that'll be another FEMA application, we hope.
FEMA application, they won't pay us for.
We're still gonna meet the threshold, I mean, basically, we don't know if it's money's gonna come or not.
But not, if I may. And not to be, again, not to be the dead horse, but that's why I've stated in several different meetings that. Yes, everybody complains about Pine River Road. We talked about this evening, setting an RFP for Ryfield Road. We're not a community where they have a highway department. So we have to base on contract certification. So it is my opinion that we need to focus on doing things like, maybe instead of paving a road one year, we put a couple $100,000 and we contract out for ditching. Just ditching and getting to our culverts. That's on paved roads, that's dirt roads. Setting trees back, cutting trees, things of that nature. The roads are starting to close in. The ditches, if the water can't get off the pavement. Or if the water is off the pavement, excuse me, or if the dirt is below the pavement, cars drop off, snowplows drop off, it starts to break our pavement, it's very expensive. So you're not just ditching to get the dirt that's higher than the road, sometimes you're ditching to bring dirt up to the edge of the pavement.
Similar to Townhouse Road, but we had to watch out.
Right, so I mean, there was ditching on I call it Grant Hill, I don't know who lives there now, but in the area where the tornado crossed, they ditched that last year. That was washing on the side of it, that's a constant thing, starting to erode the edge of the pavement, so you gotta protect that pavement, it's very expensive, so. Maybe we need to, you know, as a group, agree that we need to focus 1 year solely on ditching and culverts and maintenance to get our roads to a more suitable position, so we're not susceptible to big washouts and things of that nature on these big rain events. Because we don't have a highway department that can maintain it.
Well, I agree.
Anybody have anything else? Dave?
I don't know if it was said, sorry, I was in doing the treasury duties. But last, Dave Strauss, Jack Russell. Last Tuesday, I think it was a work session that the select board had. We had addressed the concerns that you're coming extremely close to your operating budget limit. And it's mostly because of the roads. We understood that at that work session. And you were gonna send out some notices. The department saying that the budgets are tight and you need to tighten the belt until, because we're already halfway through the year. I haven't received anything that has gone out. Has that gone out?
One has gone on the roadside via phone conversation.
I look at the manifest and I don't see any control of it. So just want to remind you that you're extremely at the level of your operating budget that you have to be able to reel in some of those amounts like we talked about at the work session. Or otherwise, we're really gonna be in trouble. And the second thing I'd like to remind you is if you decide to do another section of road next summer, the RFPs need to go out early August, so that we have something for the budget committee to review, so we can get a warrant for the town meeting.
We actually discussed that.
I just want to remind you of that.
Yeah.
That's all. All right, and if something does go out to the department, if you could CC the budget committee, it would be appreciated. As requested.
Okay, Audrey?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
So are you gonna be sending that out to the different departments? Thank you.
We got a non-public with JT. We will be doing nothing after that because Chris has something else to go to, so.
You don't want to name.
We- Yeah. 91 A, right?
Shit, I remember it.
Yeah, I think you are, talking about A.
Yeah, I make a motion to go in a non-public under RSA 91A3A.
Point of order,
Yeah,
Audrey, there's a manifest text before they go to the public.
Sorry about that. The manifest was off a penny. Can you please initial?
So I don't have to sit through your non-public.
So I,
you really are watching the budget, huh? Penny?
that's,
Penny is good or penny is bad? Oh. We went down a penny?
going down a penny.
Oh, I was good.
Good excuse.
He's busy. Deleting email. What do you know? 10,000 more to go. That's it.
Yeah. I didn't think this was gonna be this bad.
Won't do that again. Someday we'll have beer.
No, this is like the third time.
No, that is not your. Don't rip that up. Okay. Who seconded the motion?
Nobody yet. Chris just stepped out. So.
Can I just make a suggestion for the meetings? If we're not gonna turn the AC on, can we at least move the air and get a fan in?
Oh, sure.
For
Yeah.
people, I mean, really, it's-
Well, if we turn the air on, nobody can hear.
I said, or get a fan that you can circulate the air in here. I would appreciate it, thank you.
We go in non-public, the air's coming on.
You don't think we're sitting? You don't think you're circulating enough here?
Okay, somebody want a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded all. in favor,
Oh, yeah.
say aye.
Aye.
Siemens, aye.
6:00.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. for coming.
We've gotten 2 free sets of gear this year. So. Put that feather in your hat too. We did get 2 free sets of gear out of them. So here's for the turnout gear, the fire turnout gear. But yeah, 2,500 to 3,000 a set is, that's the cost nowadays.
The old communication van, we talked about, you talked to us about getting rid of that, and I noticed it's still there, so is that an R?
It's ready, yeah, it's ready to go to bid.
Okay,
It's in your report?
And the expedition as well.
Yeah.
Is ready to go out to bid.
Still on burn.
Follow up back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a buy for it. I don't have that writing. But we gotta put it out, we have to
Yeah,
put
we
it
have
out.
to put it out to bid.
Yeah.
Okay,
And the 2 fire vehicles, we can, if we want to move them here, once the bids are out, so people want to see them, they can go
Yeah.
get parked out back there. I can do that. I can get them here. So.
That one, all 3 bids.
The only thing, and this is probably police chief, I don't want to overstep here, but if that police car is gonna get sold. Be aware that it's still fully lettered and lit up with blue lights everywhere, so. Probably, if it's gonna be sold to a civilian, we probably want to make sure we take care of that.
It's not one of you guys.
One of my guys at the fire department could strip it if that's what it comes down to while they're on duty, so. Don't pay somebody to take the lights out of it, we can do that, just saying.
he was being sassy, conversation we had earlier.
I was ignoring that.
why don't we plan on that?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to talk to you.
Yeah. The expedition still needs to get stripped too, that's still got lights on it, so.
So what do you do with the lights and all that? They're obsolete.
Ah, we're on camera. The air conditioner was really loud.
So. Okay. Thanks for saying.
Thank you.
Give me.
Let's stop by station,
Yeah, you wanna make a motion?
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Move the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Wait, you gotta do.